Hi, how are you?
I'm good. You look like you might need some sleep at some point, though.
I think
What
I
time is it
might.
for you?
It is 1 a.m.
It is 1 a.m.
I was going
So
to stop
welcome.
working 4 hours ago and I'm still here.
Welcome everybody that is joining. We appreciate it. So as
As
Amy and I have done
promised.
before, yeah, as promised, but Amy and I have done this before, but usually it's just been the two of us and we've chatted through like what's in the latest releases. We're going to cover June and July because it's been a while since we've done one of these ourselves, but then we thought let's open it up, other people can join in. We don't have Q&A enabled, but we have chat enabled, so feel free to say hello, tell us where you are, and also as we're going through, if you've got questions, we'll either address them if relevant or other people can respond to them, help each other out. So if somebody asks a question, you're like, yeah, I've done that, share, right?
Yep. So it's a really good way of keeping ourselves accountable to what's going on, talk about some new cool stuff that's been going on, and make stuff up as we go along and see how good we are at it. You guys are on the second one, so we're going to be slightly more polished this time. So if you want the really ruffled one, you have to come to the
Don't
morning
promise
one.
that we're going to be more polished.
Hey, they don't know what happened to the other one. It's fun.
No. Oh, something really was just weird that happened
Huh?
on the
What?
chat. Can you still see stuff in the chat?
Yes, it's all there.
That's really weird. It just changed for me and then disappeared and just said recording started and then some attendance stuff.
Shall I try
Anyway,
a
this
message?
is why we usually just do it the two of us because then we
La
can
la.
walk. All right, so Amy said hello. Can anybody else hear us? Because that is important, because if you're all sitting there and no one can hear, that's significant. Johan,
Yay!
yes, thank
We're
you.
not just bobbling heads, just hanging out here, like just doing what we
Thank you,
want.
Chris. Thank you again.
Cool. Right. On with the
Brilliant.
show,
Right.
so they
On
say.
with the show. Because I have done webinars before when it's midway through and someone comes running to a room and no one can hear you. And you're like, oh, great. Right. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So what we're going to do is, again, because it's been a minute, we're going to start with June and we'll talk through June and then we'll go back to July. So we're looking at the what's new page, which basically, if you're not aware, gets updated every month, every time that there is a release, and we have either new stuff that is in preview or we've got stuff that is now generally available, whatever. So first one, it's not really like a yay, this is a feature, but
is it a feature?
It ties in with what we've just been doing, all of our other Q&A sessions, doesn't it?
So yeah, loads of banners and stuff popping up all over the place. Some of them work, some of them are completely inaccurate. I had a customer on real time that's never used outbound getting warnings as well. So they stuffed up the rollout on the events and everyone with events was getting the warning. But again, it's just part of this whole like killing off outbound slowly. Hopefully they don't sit there forever. It's good that they're trying to slowly set stuff on fire, and I hope it doesn't run away with us too much and becomes a big error message show. But it's not a feature, it's a thing.
Yeah, I saw the session earlier and we were going to look at an outbound segment to see how they had built it, because they've transitioned their forms and they've done like most things. So new stuff is coming in into real time and they're starting to focus on real time. But they were like, oh, I need to rebuild it. And we opened up the segment and I can't remember what the message said, but it basically wouldn't load the criteria. Sugar indeed. But I obviously don't know. It could have been a one-time thing. Yeah, it could have been like just a, hey, refresh a few times and it was fine. But yeah, it said something that couldn't be loaded. But I also saw an error today on a real-time segment that I was building.
Yeah, well, that's nothing new.
And it was trying to add in behavior, and it said something like the event something event metadata, and it wouldn't load anything. So I could say, oh, I want to do an email behavior type, But then it gives this metadata load error with like a red banner and an X. And I was like, oh, yay, great. Anyway.
Time to go to something else. Next.
Next. So yes, not really a feature, but if you're still using outbound, you have likely started to see these messages. So this is something that's gone to a general availability. So anyone on the call that isn't familiar, you've got things that go into preview, and then Microsoft's term is now this is generally available once they effectively say, it's okay, we support it, we think this is good enough for production. So this is the heat map analytics, which I was on my soapbox this morning about it, and I will get back on. I'm sorry. But if you're going to reference it in the overview tab on Insights and say heat map, or put it in here and say heat map, but then on the screenshot, it says click map, pick a lane. It's either a heat map or it's a click map. And to me, it should be a heat map.
You know what? It's a clicky heat map.
So anyway, so this is, if you've not seen it before, this was something that you had to turn on with a feature switch when it first came out in preview. So you may have been completely oblivious that it was even there when it was in preview, but now newer emails that you're sending out, you should get a heat map overview of where people have clicked on your email.
It's pretty, very visually appealing. Standard feature, should be in all marketing software.
Exactly.
So,
we finally caught up. Yeah. And it was an outbound, and this was one of those things that just took a really long time to get through. So
yes. Okay, first public preview. Transform your outreach with custom-built AI agent-powered voice conversations. This is like customer service and marketing had a baby, but they didn't want to stay together and look after the baby, so they're actually doing shared custody.
Wow, okay. Everyone get that?
Yeah, got it. So this is like those automated phone calls that you get sometimes. Apparently they do it for like flights and stuff. So you can now use the marketing journey to automate it, but the actual agent and the phone call side of it all lives in contact center, aka customer service plus. So
which has an extra cost associated.
Which is, of course, like all good things. So the journey is used as like a mechanism, but it's all kind of driven by contact center, but the consent lives in now the compliance center as the voice agent or something. So it's interesting. It's nice to see the whole like dynamics apps better together kind of thing. But I don't see a marketer getting super involved with this side of things.
No, I don't either. And that's where I think the disconnect is that, like you said, we've got this tool that's the contact center that you'd have a whole different area of the organization being involved in. And without them knowing that functionality even exists to try and automate and trigger these, it could be that neither ever knows that the other would like to use this feature because there's such, disparate areas.
Yeah.
And I think as well, so you'd said on the first call that in terms of in Australia, it's not really a common thing. And I've seen it sometimes in the UK, but it's always like some spam crap. Like,
yeah, it's always,
call me about a job. Like, okay, now I can see if I am at the airport and I get a notification, I get a phone call and it says there's a flight delay, it could be useful, but how many people just ignore numbers that they don't know? And then it would be completely wasted, right?
Me, yep, 100%. Yeah. So anyway, it's a feature. It's looking for a problem, very specific problems. Cool that they're using stuff together.
I'm curious if anyone, just put in the chat if you're using the contact center or you think that this is something. Class, hello. He says, I've had automated appointment reminders. So yeah, it could be something like that. But again, I'd rather just get a text message. Yeah, I'd rather just get a text message.
Because this is like where you can like, it could be nice for doing a reschedule functionality. Like, oh, your appointment's this time. Can you make it? No. Do you want to reschedule? Yes. Next available time is something. But it's.
Well, here's the other thing that I think you've got to consider as well. So let's say that your client base is an international client base. I am not, if I get a phone call and it's from that I think 3+33 is Germany, for example. If I'm getting a call from Germany, I'm saying to my husband, who the hell's calling me from Germany, right?
No way.
So I think, you'd either have to have phone numbers with country
Branches
codes
per
for every
country.
single possible customer,
Yeah,
because I'm not going to trust a phone call coming from outside my country.
No.
It might be more acceptable if you're like a smaller country and you're bordering many others. But I think for Australia, for America, for UK, not likely.
But then
trust it.
America
Anyway,
is just America, right? So that's all I've thought about. America is an island.
sorry to those that are in America on the call. We're not dissing America, but in terms of it is very American centric.
It's very big and you can exist there without being anywhere else. I can see why it's I get where it's come from.
Yeah, me too. All right, so let's move on from that
next,
shitty
before
thing that we
I
will
get
not
myself
use.
into any more problems. Your turn. Talk to me.
So pause and resume journeys to handle unplanned events. I think you should share your little nugget of knowledge of where you think this has come from.
It was inspired. I can't remember who told me. Okay. I think someone did genuinely tell me when the Queen died, because we were supposed to stop communicating for when the Queen died, and they realized like we don't have things.
Yeah, but not
for this.
everyone would do that. Like not
the whole of the UK though. I think a lot of countries though, like Australia has has the Queen.
If you're the Commonwealth, yeah, exactly.
Commonwealth, that's the thing, not just Australia. Yeah, so it's like, oh, we don't have ways to pause. It's either stop or carry on. So there is also like legal type stuff, obviously, and then obviously yes, you've got all natural disaster. But honestly, if there's a natural disaster, the last thing I'm worrying about is pausing a journey. But I get it; it's cool. And then
you're escaping the flood or the hurricane or the tornado.
Hold up! I've got to go pause the journey. Stand by.
Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? It's things that are stuff's going on, but not enough of a major thing to where you're still at work.
Yeah.
So exactly. You can still pause the journey. So pausing and resuming journey. So if anyone's used it and you've like had a good experience with it, or you've seen issues, that would be interesting to know. But yeah, I think this is overdue, because there are times where I'm like, I need this to stop, but I need to restart it again, and we can't. Yeah. We can't do that currently. So.
Also, depending on when you started the journey, there's different functionality they've rolled out over the past couple of months. So if you did it at the start, the functionality is pretty basic, but I've seen examples further down the chain where you can like pause and resume specific triggers and stuff.
Nice.
And like cap what's going on. There's some like salesy videos hanging around somewhere that I've seen. So it is getting more sophisticated. So it's got more scenarios.
If you find those, you remember where you saw them, let me know, and I'll put them in the newsletter. Because
I will try.
Although I do have some content for next week. Thanks, Amy. Amy's got a new blog out.
Finally.
Right. So the next one. So you can launch into this and how happy you are with this. Out of the box, cancel registration flow.
Oh, this is so good. It's actually pretty slick. So the flow itself, I've not actually used. But the fact that there is a form that can be used basically from any event. And again, like the event form, it uses the kind of parameters you can pass into the URL. It actually works. Like it's legit. Like it works. It blows my mind that it works.
Flow, there is a flow, or is it just they're saying workflow as in a process?
Oh.
I feel like I feel like they're
again,
using the
badly
word
named.
Flow. The flow of the traffic of a cancellation, not flow as in Power Automate.
Yeah, because it doesn't actually use Power Automate at all.
No.
So one thing to bear in mind is that there is a single cancellation form. I don't think you can have multiple. So it appears, and you have to then go and customize it, make it look pretty, because it's got those horrible icons on that everyone hates. But be aware, if you have older events that are real-time journey events, there's a hidden field called cancellation URL, which for new events is on the event table. Yes, on the event record. For new ones, it's automatically filled in, but for old ones, it might not be. So your cancel button will not work. But the URL is actually a copy of the registration form URL. It blew my mind. So it's the registration form URL, but then they append the event registration ID, and that turns it into the cancellation form.
Okay.
It works.
Well, but it's interesting, like whoever came up with it is quite clever, because the URL for QR codes and to actually get to a QR code is similar, as in you've got a link and then you put EN for event and then the number for event registration.
Very
and you
similar.
Put SR for the session registration.
Exactly like that.
And it's exactly the same URL. It's just that whatever's at the end of it. So
yeah. So it's super cool. It works. It's really nice. And now we've got this whole concept of a registration having status reasons, rather than having like deleted used to be cancelled, right? Like, how do you cancel a registration? Delete it.
Delete it. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
JP, this is when if you're giving somebody the option, I guess, when you do an email and you have a button, you can say cancel.
You can have a link in a text though. It's just a link.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, it's just, so you could do that, or you could even do it like, I guess, in your confirmation email it says thanks for registering.
Yes,
if you've changed your mind, click here to cancel. So something like that. But yeah,
it just needs the context.
How you would share it, I guess. Yeah,
it needs the context of a registration. And actually as well, if you go back to the page again, it tells you you've already cancelled. Like, it legit is cool.
That's really clever. That's really clever. I like that.
I really appreciate it.
Like you were saying, in terms of it previously, to cancel you would delete, but you would still see it because it was virtually displayed to you. But now you're not deleting it, but by cancelling, it's changing the status reason, which now, if any of you've seen it shows very pretty with they're using like that, the color of the option in the choice field, so whatever that is, and you've got the color next to it, and the colors are decent. I mean, shouldn't need to go in and be changing them. Yeah, looks nice.
They have a waitlisted status as well, which is why that's come about. So waitlisted is a nice grey. It's beautiful. It's good.
Scott's asking, did he hear right that there's only one event cancellation form?
From what I've found so far, yes.
Could you not? Oh, yes, because there's no option to click and say create a new cancellation form. It's either you're creating an event registration.
And they all point to the same cancellation form. So I've not worked that out yet, but I've had moments.
Save as, copy as, copy HTML. Depends what's no, because there'll be a field somewhere that says, so there might be a field somewhere that says what to type. So you might be able to like backdoor into it.
I didn't get that far in my reverse engineering. Now I'm curious. But as far as I can tell, yes.
That's how we find out most things with a marketing app. It's just like peek under the hood and see what's really going on. So monthly. So Scott, we don't know. I would go ahead and maybe in the view of forms, go into your filtering on that view and see what there should be a form type field, which currently is marketing or event registration, and see if there's also a cancellation option, and then you might be able to do something with it that way.
Or there's some new columns somewhere. Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Another blog, Amy?
Yeah, well, when I work it out.
Okay, so this one was fun this morning because we didn't have a Scooby what was going on with this, and then I've looked at it, so I actually have some knowledge now. So this was something that neither of us had looked at. So the orchestrate journeys using any marketing interaction, and basically saying, okay, use marketing interaction triggers basically to do branching and things like that. And so we hypothesized, and I was like, oh, this could be really cool, because then if it's any marketing interaction, that would be basically saying, oh, well, if it was a form viewed or form submitted or website clicked or any marketing interaction, or you could say if the interaction was feedback loop or unsubscribe or something, you could then say, well, create a task for somebody because there's a feedback loop. That means that they've marked you as spam. Make sure it's not a customer. So I looked at it after the call, and I'm quite disappointed because the two of the things that I got excited about, thought this could be really good, are not even there as an option. it still has to have an interaction, first of all, meaning you still need to have sent some kind of communication. So if you think about right now, you send
You
an
can only
email.
reference the previous thing.
Exactly. And then after the email, you then have the option to say, like, wait for a trigger or wait for feedback. Can't remember the terminology, but you would pick that option. And then you can branch and say, all right, well, if it was a click or I'm trying to find the bloody screenshot that I sent you.
It's further.
Of course.
Oh, yes, you did. You did send me a screenshot.
I sent it to you. But it does not have feedback loop, and it does not have, oh, here we go. It has email blocked, email bounced, email delivered, email link clicked, and email opened. So in reality, they've just added 3 new interactions that you can use, because email link clicked and email opened was always there.
Yes. Cool. Well,
so I'm not as thrilled. Yeah, but it's the terminology.
Yes.
Any means any. It doesn't mean some or several or a few or a couple. It means
3 more.
Any.
Any equals 3.
So I have an issue with their grammar.
And their marketing. They've oversold and underdelivered.
They've oversold and underdelivered. Anyway, let's move on from that. But that is now new. So you, as in like, you've got more options. And it does look a little bit nicer, as in the sort of the UI for it. But
yes,
don't get excited like I did and think it's any marketing interaction, no matter what, because it ain't. Yeah.
Okay. This one ties into the previous reference to the contact center. So these 2 features kind of have to live together. So this is about quiet times, and they're extending quiet times to, instead of taking just the journey time zone, you can actually feed it the time zone of a lead or a contact. So obviously you could have a journey that's in the time zone of the UK, but you could have contacts or leads that live all over the world. So now we can actually apply quiet time according to the contact or lead settings. It's pretty flexible how they set it up. Like, it's nice. You can choose, like, this is my field of country, and this country has this time zone, and yada, yada, yada. Like, it's very detailed. But it also comes with the assumption that your data is really nice. So
there we go. That's
there we go. I love
quality.
the high quality. Yeah, speaks to that. You can choose a country, you can choose a state, you build your rules. It's actually way more complicated. Yeah, you see just at the bottom there with the collapse for Rhode Island, under there is like a whole like monster of settings. So it's a bit of work to set up, but if this is something that is important to you as an internationally based and it's time sensitive stuff, like, super cool that we can do this, but I would not want to be the person setting this up.
No, and that's the thing, is it's the marketing people that might be like, oh, this is great, we can do this, but they're not also the ones that are maintaining the data. It's going to be sales, or it's going to be customer service or account management. So in terms of like, hey, this is a great feature, if they could, marketing, do a brilliant job setting it all up, but if the data's not there,
ain't gonna worky.
Ain't gonna work, and it's pointless.
And obviously this is driven by the voice calls, because you can't phone people at 2 a.m. in the morning without breaking laws and paying lots of fines. So yes, it's cool, but
that's all you got on that?
Yeah, perfect world of perfect data. I don't know, there's bigger problems. Cool though.
Yeah.
At least you're trying to respect to play by regulations, etc.
So the only thing with that is
the only thing.
Like, the only thing. One thing with that is, so let's say that somebody complains and says, I'm getting calls at 3 a.m. and 2 a.m., whatever, right? So they're going to complain, and they're going to go to that. This is just a complete like rabbit hole that I'm going down.
Yeah.
So somebody complains to the company, and then basically Microsoft can basically say, we've given you the tools.
Yeah.
So it's almost like if you're going to do phone calls,
you need to.
And Microsoft have said, hey, here's this great feature, even though it's a bitch to set up.
Yes.
And if you don't have good data, so the company is still going to be liable, because Microsoft has said, we've given you this solution.
Here's the tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of, if you're going to do phone calls or even text messages, you kind of need to be getting on that, right?
Yeah, they couldn't have rolled it out without it. It's a good point.
Yeah, because otherwise, if they didn't have it, then it would almost be like, well, we don't have this functionality, Microsoft. Why? And so, yeah, Microsoft could be liable, I guess. Anyway, so this is the one that was in the June release. That was a preview, and it was so quick you could have blinked and you would have missed it, because now it's generally available in the July release. So,
yay, more things.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Queen doesn't. Well, the Queen's not going to die for a while, because we don't have one.
King might.
Yeah, that's true. Let's try it out then. I'll be ready.
Yeah. Right. Sorry. Let's move on from monarchy situations. Right. So the next one, tailor follow-up strategies by reacting to multiple customer actions at once.
This is a screenshot that you want. The zoom in of the pretty UI.
I feel like this and the first one that says like any marketing interaction.
Yes.
It's almost pretty much the same thing, right?
Yes.
Like I don't see. It's almost like marketing said, oh, we can bundle this into 2 different ones.
Oh, but they're separate months, right?
No, this was at the top of July and this is the middle of July. Yeah. So this is basically what we were just talking about. Whereas this is tailoring it specific and saying within a branch. But I couldn't see a way to do it without like branching.
Yeah, you're right.
So it doesn't feel like they're different things. It feels like they're kind of linked together. But yeah, so this is basically, you've got your email that you've sent, and then you have the previous message gets an interaction, and then you go through and your different branches. You can't see it from there, but you can click in, and then you've got the like a drop down, so you can pick which interaction type. But yeah,
I'm just looking now at the emails that they're sending. It's like, oh, the email is blocked, so I'm going to send you a text about November 26th. And then if it's bounced, they're going to wait an hour and then send the same email again.
Not much thought gone into the screenshot.
No, the scenarios aren't the ones there. I'm like, how? No. I was like, how would you use this? And that's not what I was thinking of.
No, exactly. What's an alias email? Anyway,
I don't know.
That feels like somebody was doing some testing for something else. I'm like, oh, don't worry, I've got a screenshot ready to go.
Done.
I got a screenshot ready to go. All right, so next we have maximize event capacity with waitlist registrations.
So this has been knocking around for a while, but it's actually in the GA bucket now, right?
Yeah, this is GA. Yeah.
Again, I'm pretty impressed with this. They ran it out the door real quick and I was super nervous, but I've had people looking at it, customers trying to get their hands on it, and been really happy with how it all works. And we spoke about this in the last one, but we'll do it again. So I quite like that. So when the waitlist is enabled, there's 2 options, just like there was previously, I think, which is automatically register or don't, and basically you'll go in and choose as and when you like. I still have some homework to do that I haven't done yet, which is if you open up slots that are available and you re-invite people, can someone else swoop in and steal their space? I don't know. I think they can.
So because you're essentially opening up registrations again for 5 slots, but you're just telling the people that were on the wait list that there's a slot available. But if somebody goes to your site and in the middle of that, because it's not a named available. I don't believe, and anyone please contradict us. We're happy to be contradicted, but I don't believe that it says, right, I've sent it to Amy Holden, Megan Walker, and 3 other people. I don't think it says, I'm waiting for Amy Holden to register. I don't think it does it?
No, I don't think so. It'd be really cool, but I don't think it's there yet. And yet, as Jean-Paul says, like doing private invites would be super cool. Like your slot's open, you've got 24 hours to click this button.
Yeah. It's yours blah, blah, blah. If you want it.
Yes. And if not, when it expires.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, it'd be cool. I don't think they're there. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
The only thing you could possibly do, but it's still not foolproof, or someone being able to register could still happen, but is if that wherever that page for the event was, is if you've got it either behind a password protected page, something like that, because even if you've had, let's say you've had the event live and you've promoted it and you've had 50 people registered, but then you've got the wait list and you open it, it could be that it's been indexed by Google, so somebody could search and find it in a search. And even if you say stop indexing, you're at the mercy of Google to have basically said, oh, okay, well, but it's still out there. People could still have the link.
Yeah, you've
so
still
you'd
got
have
links.
you could have to password protect the page, I guess. That's the only way
That's
around
wild.
it.
But then also a different way that you could use waitlists is to do I had a customer ask about expression of interest. So people want to come to an event, but they can't just register. They have to like apply, and they have to fill in the form and say, this is me, and this is why I want to come, and this is why I'm cool enough. And then they go through and kind of go through the applications and decide who's coming. So you could actually probably use the waitlist for that, like crank the waitlist availability down to 0 or 1. It might have to be 1. I'm not sure if you do 0. And then you can then electively register people once you've read their applications. And then you're kind of tying into the classic workflow because you base it on the status being registered of the registration. So it's quite a cool little like way you can be a bit more creative. It's not quite at event invite level, but it's something in between where it is a bit more like individual focused.
But I mean, obviously, everything that you send out, you could word it as like, hey, we've got this top secret VIP event. So like JP saying in terms of like private invites, and in terms of like your first email to the people you want to go, it could be, we've got the super top secret event, blah, 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 and then send that out. But then, like you said, put them so that they go into the wait list, and then make sure that you're only allowing the people that you want. Because otherwise you've got people maybe like sharing the links with other, hey, let's check this out, and forwarding it on. So you still want to make sure that you're only allowing certain people.
Yeah, that's nice. It's like a screening process, right?
Yeah. So Scott's saying, is anyone using events successfully? Starting to investigate using it and running into some issues with registration form submissions, a strange intermittent issue where submissions get stuck and pending and after 24 hours transition to failed. I would open up a support ticket with that if you haven't. But I have also seen randomly, and the thing is, it's one of those where unless you're like, you've just launched it and you're excited and you're like, oh, has anyone registered yet? Or you're doing testing. Sometimes it's hard to notice these things. But I was doing testing. I filled out the form. I asked someone, and it went through fine. I asked somebody else to fill it out. 2 hours later, the form submission actually finished. And I'm like, okay, what the hell was going on for 2 hours as to why? And it just sat there and sat there and sat there. So Scott, I would open a support ticket, like I said, unless you have already and they've given you naff all. But yeah, I've got clients that are using it definitely, and using it well and using it effectively and not had issues. So the one thing sorry, I was going to say one thing that I have noticed with regular marketing forms, which in theory I would imagine would translate across to event registration forms, because if the contact doesn't exist, it's creating the contact. What I have found is form submissions were failing and it would give you some generic message, and you'd have to go into the error logs, turn on error logs,
plug and trace logs, right?
Plug and trace logs, thank you. And then you would go and you would fill out the form and you would get an error. You'd have to go and find the related log file. And what it always boils down to is some wanker has added a new business rule that says when a contact is created, make this field required. Which is all well and good when someone is a user in Dynamics because they can see and they're told this is required. It breaks your marketing form. So everything could have worked, and then some overzealous system administrator that doesn't have any thought of the marketing forms, doesn't know, adds a business rule, makes something required, and then that breaks your submissions because it cannot complete the process of creating the contact because the business rule is set at an entity level. It kicks in and that's it. So if they need it, set it at the form level, not at the entity level. So I don't know if
a hidden field on your form.
If possible,
That's what I was going to say, is it's possibly like check if you haven't already, try and find the failure description field. Have a look what's in there. Look at the trace log. It's probably an issue with the contact creation. Go and try and create a contact and see what fields are required when you fill it. Like grab that contact's details that was submitted, try and create it yourself in the UI and see if you press save, what explodes. Because that's probably what the form submission is hitting.
Yeah. But it is not an obvious thing to find, because that failure message doesn't say, "Oh, this contact needed
contact ID, blah blah blah,
whatever field," because it can't pass back that. So yeah, probably that. And yeah, Klaas has said that they've run some events, more than 200 attendees, so that's good. Run into issues with duplicate contacts. Oh, does it? I've not done that. I guess I've not merged a contact. So I guess it's saying that it's merged, but it doesn't know how to put the event registration onto the merged one if it's not the original.
I have no idea. If they've registered once and then it merges to the wrong one. Oh, and I think there are some weird, like, strict keys on event registrations now about the values it can have and things.
They've changed quite a bit on registrations.
There's a lot going on. It's a bit wild at the minute. It's a bit wild.
Yeah, Scott, again, that's what I had seen as well, that wasn't related to a business rule. So that's good that you open up a ticket and see what they come back with, but I have seen it, but not that often. So maybe
not enough to,
Yeah, I don't know. It's an annoying one though, for sure. Especially when you just filled it out and it was submitted fine. You're like, yay, my work is done. Right. And then someone else is, you're like, oh shit, it's broken again.
It worked earlier, I promise.
Exactly.
Story of my life. Yes. So yeah, I think that's all the features. Yeah. So if we don't have, we've got 5 minutes. So I guess, do you want to do a little whirlwind of what's been going on with Megan V. Walker actually using customer insights journeys?
Yes, it's been interesting. So I'm a fraud. I write about it. I don't use it. So when I say fraud, I'm not, obviously, but in terms of, like, I'm not using the marketing app day in and day out for myself, like real world. I'm using it day in and day out because I'm doing training and customizing and setting stuff up for blogs and things like that. So I thought, oh, I'd really like to use it in anger, as in, like, I'd like to be able to say, right, these are the experiences and the issues that someone in marketing is facing on a regular basis. So I've moved the D365 Marketing Weekly newsletter. I've moved everything into customer insights journeys. So all subscribers are contacts. Anyone that fills out the form, they come through, they go through a journey that says thanks for registering. I'm using contact point consent records, all of that sort of stuff, journeys and everything. And yeah, I guess I'm just, like, seeing, like, little things that I feel like there's still areas where it's behind. For example, copyright at the bottom of your footer. I want to show current year, because I always get to the end of the year. Same on my website as well, but on a website you can use some code. Oh, thanks, Ames. On a website you use code and you basically say, what's the current year? And it just populates with some PHP or whatever, however your site is built. Emails, I always forget. So I've got old templates and things that still have 2023 on from when I built them. But I want to make sure that with the marketing one, I don't forget. So it's stuff like that where it's like you can use current year, current month in other tools and it's already there. So I think it's the little things that I'm having to come up with workarounds for.
Shouldn't really be
a workaround. I came up with something today that I will do a blog on, but where so my contact form has always been a marketing form. It's the only one that has always been that way. And so I send a thank you email that's like, hey, as a reminder, this is what you filled out. When it was Christmas, I thought, oh, well, I want to say, like, sorry, you're out of luck. I'm off work for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I had a branch that was, if it's between these dates, or if it's after this
Yeah.
date, send this, and then otherwise go back to my usual one. And
You
then
have
when
to
I went
update
on
it every
holiday,
year.
on vacation, I did one for when I was away for 2 weeks.
Gosh.
So it was 2 branches, and I was like, well, am I just going to keep on doing that like anytime? So what I've come up with is a marketing message where I can go and say, what do I want to include? Yes, what do I want to include? And then have a start date and an end date. So it's calculated and says, is this active or not? Yes or no.
On the
And then a
brand
list.
profile, or
No,
where are you
no,
putting it?
on its own. Its own record. So each time I have a new message that I want to display,
Separate table. Nice.
Separate table. So then a list that says get one, and get the one that is
The most
either
recent.
like active and the most recent, and then display that. So stuff like that is like, it should be easy, but I gotta do a new table. I gotta do new.
Yeah, because you know how to
shit.
do that. You know it's possible, right? So
But for like a regular user, they'll just be like, well, I've got to have 10 different emails that might
It reminds me of the days I spent in Marketo trying to work stuff out. I was like, I don't know what's possible here, so I'm just going to smash until I get something right.
Yeah, but that's the sort of attitude that we have, and we like, that's just how our mind works, and we will just keep going at it. But B, some people just don't have the time.
It's like, oh, I can't do it. I have to create new emails.
Yeah.
Hey, this product sucks.
Yeah, which some aspects do, but we've got one last thing from class.
Yes.
Any news around being able to schedule proper Teams webinars from customer insights? Jenny, so is this what you were talking about earlier today?
Yes, and I had a conversation with a customer about this today as well, so you're not the only one.
You want to share what
I can't
he's referring
officially
to?
tell you, but yes. So when you create a Teams a meeting through Dynamics Marketing, you say it's online, you sync to Teams. In the background, it creates this meeting and shows it in your calendar, but it's not actually, it's just a glorified meeting. It's not a webinar meeting. Like if you went into Teams and set up a webinar like you did for this, you get all these snazzy things. It's a really nice UI. It's beautiful. It doesn't do that. It creates this weird meeting with like extra superpowers. Yes, you can get to things like the green room with the crappy one that they create, but you have to go into the settings in the Teams meeting, which it tells you not to do, but that's how you do it. So you have to go into the meeting options.
Create it as the event in marketing, but then go into where it is in your Teams, and then fiddle with it.
But the rule is, if the setting is in Dynamics Marketing, use it there. If it's not, do it in Teams. Because when you sync, any setting that's available in Dynamics will overwrite what you did, apart from if the setting is not available. It's a hack. It's horrible. People hate it. I don't officially know when, and I can't say when, but I feel like there's stuff that might come along in the next wave or two, I think.
There's the town hall stuff as well.
So town halls is long overdue. They're obviously doing an overhaul on that. So I think there's hope. But I'm with you on that. It's really painful. That's a good glorified Teams meeting. Is a really good explanation.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I think
that's probably what you said this morning as well.
I probably did, yeah.
Glorified Teams meeting. So, well, hopefully you guys have enjoyed listening to Amey and I waffle, because like I said, we were doing this before, but with no one watching. So thanks for joining and watching. Thanks to those of you that have put comments in. We appreciate it. And yeah, I guess we will do it again next month.
Sweet. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.